This is probably the dumbest title I've ever had for a video. At the end of August, Bandai Namco released Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker, the latest in a long list of games based on the Naruto franchise. Due to elements like its emphasis on multiplayer, a character creation system, and the ability to train under your favorite characters from the series, it was basically seen as Dragon Ball Xenoverse with a Naruto skin on it. Now, this wasn't a bad thing. In fact, this arguably worked in the game's favor. Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and especially its sequel, were generally well received, and a statement I've heard often in my friend circles that played the game was that Naruto should do something like this. So after having played Shinobi Striker, I can say that I enjoy it overall, but I do think that there are some things it can learn from Xenoverse. Of course, I can understand the developers, Soleil, wanting this game to have its own identity instead of being labeled as a Xenoverse clone, especially when they were a relatively new studio with only one other game under their belt. But I think that learning from Xenoverse's strengths would be a net positive. Firstly, I think that when it comes to the character creator, while they did a good job at having a variety of cosmetic options, that's about as deep as it goes. When you create your character, one of the first things you do is pick which village they're from, but this decision has no weight other than what default outfit you wear in the beginning of the game. Hell, you can even buy the headbands and default outfits from other villages later on, which, while it does allow you to mix and match a bit, it also defeats the purpose of choosing a home village in the first place. Let's contrast this with the race selection in Xenoverse. These games give you 5 races to choose from, and each race comes with their own advantages and weaknesses. Saiyans have lower health but higher attack power and get a power boost at low health. Namekians have a low attack power but higher health and can regenerate health when it drops below a certain point, and so on and so forth. This variety of options resulted in a lot more opportunities to have a unique character, not just with their looks, but how they fought. And with the way the Naruto universe works with its element-based nations and attacks, the differences between each village basically write themselves. For example, Stone Village Ninja could get a defense boost when using Earth-style moves, while Cloud Village Ninja could get a speed boost when using Lightning-style moves. Shinobi Striker could also benefit from some changes to its hub world and mission structure. While Soleil made the hub world relatively small, it could still benefit from a teleport feature. When players are trying to mission grind for rewards, for the most part they're gonna want as little tedium as possible. With the game as it is now, here's how the typical routine goes. You play a couple of missions, then if you gained a level with your master, you have to run to the VR master menu to get their rewards. Then you have to run to the tool shop to appraise all the scrolls you got for items. Then you have to run to the inn to equip those items. Again, the map is small, but with all the running around you have to do, implementing something as simple as a teleport or fast travel feature would help cut down the time spent doing all this. Hell, now that I think about it, having the inn at all is just unnecessary. The inn is where players can find all their customization options, but why didn't they just put all those options in the pause menu? Since you're constantly unlocking new moves and items for your character, it would make more sense to put customization options in a menu that you can access from anywhere on the map, like in Xenoverse, especially if you want to change your loadout quickly between matches. It seems like the inn is just there so Sakura can have something to do. Then again, that is rather symbolic of how she's been written throughout this franchise. Last but not least, and I'm honestly not sure why this wasn't a feature from launch, the missions need exit and restart options. This goes back to what I said about reducing tedium. In the game's current state, if you want to leave a mission or start over from the beginning, there's no option to pause and drop out, so you either have to see the mission through to the end, which could take upwards of 5 to 10 minutes depending on difficulty, or just let the timer run out. This is something that can be easily patched in, but again, why was this not a feature at launch?
Well, if Shinobi Striker has all these shortcomings, why do you still enjoy it?
Because the game's strengths make up for these shortcomings. There are even some things that it does better than Xenoverse. For one, the master training system is much more streamlined. Both Xenoverse and Shinobi Striker allow you to train under various characters from their respective franchises in order to learn some of their signature moves. In Xenoverse 2, all the masters are scattered across the game's very large hub world, and it's even worse in Xenoverse 1 because instead of having a set location, they just randomly spawn. And the higher level masters had an even lower spawn rate, so in order to train under characters like Goku or Beerus, you had to constantly enter and exit missions while praying to RNGesus that they finally spawn. Shinobi Striker corrects this by having all the masters in one place, and ranking them up is much faster. You can gain 2 ranks in just 2 or 3 online matches. Even if you lose, you still get a significant amount of experience, and the game tells you how far you are after every match. And your progress bar along with your other player stats are very easily accessible from the hub world, whereas in Xenoverse you have to keep bringing up the progress menu and ranking up with your master is a slow drag. I just want to learn Final Flash, goddammit! Shinobi Striker also made a good call by having its gameplay put more emphasis on teamwork and coordination. In the Xenoverse games, a lot of matches came down to who can spam their ultimate the fastest and do the most damage, but Shinobi Striker's combat is built around working as a unit. This makes matches more interesting and exciting because you have to adapt to the other team's strategy and outsmart them while still defending yourself and your teammates. If you approach the game's various modes single-mindedly, you're gonna end up catching more L's than Rock Lee. Finally, the game takes an Overwatch approach to leveling up, where having a higher level doesn't grant stat bonuses or anything. It just means that you've played the game a lot. This way, being a higher level than other players has no inherent advantage other than practical experience, and game balance comes down to making sure that none of the special and ultimate moves are too powerful and have an appropriate cooldown time relative to their damage. So if Shinobi Striker can take some cues from the good parts of Xenoverse while continuing to improve on the weaker parts of Xenoverse, it could be a really great game instead of just being a good one. And since most of these changes can be applied in future updates, it's absolutely possible for them to do it. I'm looking forward to seeing what improvements Soleil will make to Shinobi Striker, and hopefully the game does well enough to warrant a sequel. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to retching over the fact that Sakura is an Uchiha now. Well, I guess trash deserves trash. So what did you think of this video? Swarm that comment section below or bug me on social media. Until next time, keep it sketchy, folks.